All right, let's begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. My name is Pelle. I'm the CEO and founder of ConVoid. And in today's webinar, I will give you an overview of ConVoid on how to create and coordinate openings. It's a solution used by MEP engineers, structural engineers, and architects. So this session will be recorded. And if you have any questions, you can simply use the Q&A chat, and I will answer your question at the end of the demonstration. So first of all, I will give you a short overview of the key features of ConVoid, and then I will jump into a sample project to demonstrate all the workflows. And after that, I will give you the answers to your questions. All right. Let's begin. So what's the most common issue regarding openings? First of all, missing and uncoordinated openings are causing rework on construction site. So it's quite important to keep everything up to date and coordinated. Furthermore, we have to prevent the spread of fire and smoke in our building. So fire safety is a really important topic. And finally, there are bearing issues, meaning openings can cause structural damage, and that's what we have to avoid. So what can we do against that? ConVoid provides a full workflow to coordinate and create and update openings in small and large-scale projects. So it can handle up to 40,000 openings in one single project. And most of the projects are with the architect, MEP engineer, structural engineer, and the fire safety engineer. So first of all, we start by creating the openings based on MEP services. With ConVoid, you can use IOC and Revit models. These can be linked into one federated model, and this federated model is then used to create these openings. So it supports all categories. So it doesn't matter if your pipe is maybe one generic model or not a pipe category. So all Revit categories are supported. And we also provide a built-in clash detection. So you don't have to use an external software or an external workflow to check where to place openings. On top of that, we provide a parameter transfer. So the parameter transfer is used to transfer parameter values from the wall, from the MEP systems to the openings. For example, it can be the fire rating of the wall or the system abbreviation, the structural usage. So these parameter values or information are then used for quantity takeoff for a construction site or to create 2D drawings. On top of that, we have the possibility to define our rules on how to create these openings. We can add specific oversizes, means we can add clearance zones to have enough gap between the wall and the MEP surfaces. Furthermore, we can join openings by a predefined distance to create one single large opening. And we have a shape control, meaning you can decide whether to use a rectangular shape or a round shape. And finally, there's an element filter, meaning you can decide which element you want to use to create openings. For example, if you want to prefer structural elements at the beginning, you can simply ignore or exclude all non-bearing elements like drywalls and then add them at a later stage. So how does it look like? You have multiplied different models Here's an example with architectural, electrical, mechanical, and plumbing. Of course, you can add more and more models, and you create one federated model. It can be a separated project or your architecture model. So when created the federated model, ConVoid can create these openings. As said, it supports IFC models and Revit models. So you could actually just work with IFC models coming from ArchiCAD, MicroStation, DDS-CAD, Tekla, or so on. So it's fully supported. But of course, you can also simply use Revit models. The next feature is to update the openings. When design change involves, you have to update the openings. And that's an automatic process with ConVoid. So you can update the openings at any time, meaning you can focus on your MEP design, on your architectural design. And at any time, you can just restart ConVoid, and then ConVoid will update these openings automatically. You will have a change log with a full history showing what changes appeared. And there you can see the change of location, the change of size, and so on. Furthermore, we have a color filtering, meaning to highlight the different statuses. In this example, we have the yellow openings, which are marked as changed. The orange one are marked as deleted. So you get an entire overview of your current status and what ConVoid actually updated. The next step is to transfer these openings to different models. Let's assume you created your openings in your MEP model and you want to transfer them to a structural model. That's also a workflow we provide, meaning you can use also an ISC or a Revit file as a reference, and ConVoid then converts these openings to ConVoid openings in the structural or architecture model. It's mainly used for coordination and also to create real cuts in your walls and host elements. For structural engineers, we also provide a feature that allows them to convert windows and doors to structural openings. So it always keeps the openings up to date, and the workflow is actually similar. We also provide a workflow on how to coordinate and improve openings. Herefore, we use the ConVoid Manager. With the ConVoid Manager, you get an entire overview of your openings in your project, and these ones are highlighted in their status color. You can use the ConVoid Manager to communicate with different disciplines or the project participants using the chat. You can add snapshots to a specific opening to communicate an issue. Therefore, we also provide BCF import and export. So you can run your entire coordination and approval process using the ConVoid Manager, but you also have the possibility to export your results using BCF and then import them in a different BIM system, which also supports BCF, and run the approval there. And at the later stage, you can import these results back to ConVoid again. We also provide Excel and CSV export, approval synchronization, meaning if all project participants are working with ConVoid, there is no need of exchange of data. ConVoid will automatically synchronize the approval. And the last key feature I will show you is to annotate openings, meaning to tag all openings in your 2D views, to place dimension, to create section views for specific walls, And here we have the feature SmartTech. SmartTech is a more advanced feature that tries to find a free spot for a tag in your 2D plan to avoid overlapping elements. A new upcoming feature is the automatic placement of dimensions. It allows you to place all the needed dimensions on your 2D plan in some seconds. And also you can create the section views based on walls. So let me jump into the sample project to show you the workflow. All right. Here I have a Revit project, and I have a linked architecture model, a linked electrical model, and a linked mechanical and plumbing model. So basically, this Revit project is an empty coordination project where I just want to create the openings and manage them also. So to start with, I can define the creation scope on where to create openings. I can use the 3D section box by extending it or minimizing it. And based on the active elements in our view, ConVoid will create openings. The same applies for 2D views, like in floor plans. If I start ConVoid here, ConVoid will create openings based on these elements. So to start to create openings, I will open ConVoid and click on Convert Void. I started ConVoid, and here I selected the mechanical and plumbing filter to define my clashing rules, meaning I want to clash ducts against walls to create wall openings. I want to clash floors against ducts to create floor openings. Once I defined my clashing rules, I can define some further conditions, meaning the oversize. That's the minimum oversize I'm defining here right now. And in this setting window, I can define further settings like join openings if their distance is less than 200 millimeters. So I will keep it like that. One other point I will show you is on how to transfer parameters, meaning I can transfer the system abbreviation from the reference elements to the openings. The same applies to the host elements. So I'm using the fire rating, which I want to transfer to the fire rating parameter of the opening. So you can define or transfer all kinds of parameters. You can add your own ones to transfer them to a specific parameter of your opening. On top of that, you can create renaming rules in case the parameter values do not have the naming convention you want. You can simply rename them, and after that you can start the creation process. So now ConVoid is analyzing the active view and starts to create the openings. Great. Let's have a closer look. And as you can see, these openings are represented as solids. I'm just gonna do a check. Yeah, are represented as solids with different information. We have the elevation parameters, we have some material parameters, the system abbreviation, which we just transferred, the fire rating of the wall. Then we have the dimension parameters plus some quantity parameters, the ID data, who created the opening, when was it created, and so on. We also have like information about the grid location or room and information. When I switch to a 2D plan, we will see the openings as symbols, and we provide different symbols, meaning you can also change the type of symbol if you prefer maybe a symbol like that. So we have around 30 different symbols you can use. All right, once you created the openings, you can continue to create openings for a different system. Let's do that for the electrical system. The workflow is the same, so we will actually just select the electrical model and the cable trays, which are used to create the openings. Perfect. Now we have our openings, and we can now continue to work on our mechanical and plumbing model or our architecture model, meaning I will just load a new version of the mechanical and plumbing model by selecting version 2. And as you can see, Revit is loading the new version. So these openings are not up to date yet. But everything is now saved in our Revit project. I mean, if you once created your settings in ConVoid, you can simply restart them every time. Also, your colleague will have your settings. You can also export these settings and use it in a different project. But here I will just select my new version of the mechanical and plumbing model and rerun ConVoid. And based on the new model, ConVoid will analyze all the changes. Maybe he will also create new openings. So you will get an entire documentation and overview what ConVoid actually is doing. Perfect. Now we can see 56 openings are up to date. 45 openings are created, 6 got changed, and 6 got deleted as marked as deleted. To get a better overview, I will add a color filter using the ConVoid manager. So as you can see here, I have a total overview of my openings. The yellow ones are marked as changed, and the orange ones are marked as deleted. So I want to highlight these colors also in my active view, so I could use the color filter. Yep. Perfect. And now I can see all these changes in my active view. When I select this opening, I see a change in movement. The size stayed the same. So the deleted ones are marked as deleted. I will simply delete them manually because ConVoid is not deleting any elements from your project automatically. So let me just filter the deleted ones. And now I'm ready to continue. Great. So it could be that you want to modify the openings after the creation process. And here you can use the Modify Void tab. Here I have the possibility to join openings afterwards, meaning by simply selecting the openings, I can join them into one single opening, or also unjoin them again. I will do that for this part. And in case I want to line the openings with the walls, here I can use the align feature by simply selecting the opening and then the reference. Great. As you can see here, ConVoid will also create openings with a slope. You can also disable this behavior to create straight openings. But so far, everything looks good, meaning now I want to focus on the oversizes of the openings, especially for the cable trays. Now I have no oversizes for the cable trays. As you can see here, the oversize is set to 0. I could do that manually for one single opening to add an oversize. Now I increase the size by 50 millimeters on top, but I'm using dimension void to automate this process entirely. Using dimension void, I can create different filters. Now I created one filter for cable trays. And in this table, I just filtered and sorted all openings which were created based on a cable tray. So it's working actually like a schedule in Revit. You create a new schedule or filter, then you switch to properties. You filter these openings by specific parameter values, like the system abbreviation for electrical systems. And then you can define specific oversizes for these openings. And now I have like an oversize of 50 millimeters on the sides and 100 millimeters on the top. By hitting apply, all these openings will get automatically these oversizes. Great. As you can see here, now we have 50 millimeters to the sides and 100 millimeters to the top. And that same can be done with fire dampers, with pipes, and so on. So here you can set up your project requirements regarding the oversizes to ensure everything is designed as required. All right, the next step is to transfer these openings to our architecture model. So just let me save my project. I will close that one. And then I have my architecture model here. Great. I can also use the architecture model, the structure model, of course. I'm just gonna reload the coordination project with my openings. The linked openings in my project. Okay. So the next step is to transfer these openings into my project, and herefore I'm also using ConVoid. By named openings, and by simply hitting refresh, it's running a clash detection between the generic models. The generic models are the openings. And now I have a few different settings compared to the other project because I'm just adopting these openings and not creating openings based on MEP services. So what I will do is now just to rerun the process, and now ConVoid is creating these openings for this active view. All right, as you can see, ConVoid just updated or created these openings. I'm just switching to my 2D view. And the next step I want to do is to tag these openings using Smart Tag to create my drawings. So Smart Tag is a similar or more advanced feature compared to the built-in one of Revit, Tag All. And here you have the possibility to select your project or a link project to tag specific elements. So I'm tagging now my openings. So here I'm just selecting the family types and the tag family, which I want to use to tag specifically this one type of opening. When clicking OK, ConVoid tries to find the free spot in your active view, meaning it tries to avoid overlapping elements, text, dimensions, and so on. And here we have now some information in our tag family. It's a sample tag family. You can also create and use your own ones. But here I can see the system type, which is penetrating the opening, the dimensions, and also the elevation to the base level. We provide different elevations, meaning you can show or display the elevation to the project base point, to the shared coordinates, to your upper level, to your lower level. So everything which is needed, you can display in your tag family. By just editing this family, you can just display different elevations. The next step and a new upcoming feature I want to show you is the dimension void feature. Here, I want to start to dimension my walls and openings. So I want to use round openings as a reference, rectangular openings as a reference, intersecting walls as a reference. Of course, I could also add intersecting grids or intersecting systems like ducts and pipes. And I'm just want to use the reference in my active model. If I have openings in the link model, I will have to select or enable this option here. To start the dimension wall, I can simply select one single wall, and to continue my entire project. So far, everything looks good. And let's also create a section view for a specific wall by hitting this button. ConVoid will automatically create a section view. Let me just change the details. And by selecting the wall, ConVoid also place the dimensions for this active view. So that's a new upcoming feature, which will be released soon. And the next step I want to do is now to start approving openings. In case there are some issues or things you have to coordinate, with different disciplines, you can use the ConVoid manager, meaning I just gonna switch to 3D view, and for example, using this opening, I see actually that this opening is not completely aligned with the wall, so I could simply reject it, tell the MEP engineer, please align opening with wall. I could also add a snapshot to explain the problem in more detail. And these issues I'm creating can be exchanged by using BCF or by using synchronized approval. So ConVoid is creating for each opening automatically a BCF, so which can also be used in different BIM systems or BCF platforms. And that's a way on how you can easily approve or reject openings. I'm just going to add a color filter to my active view to see the different coloring. And once you did that, you may want to cut these openings with host elements to create real cuts. Meaning, if I just isolate my wall here, as you can see, there are no cuts in the wall yet. But this I want to do with the ConVoid manager. I'm simply selecting the openings and clicking cut. And now ConVoid created these cuts in my wall. Of course, I could do that for my entire project at once by simply selecting all elements and hitting cut. Great. Let's just hide these elements for a second. I'm just hiding generic models. And now, as you can see, ConVoid created in all post elements real cuts. Perfect. Now it's 9:35. Do you have any questions? I'm just going through some questions I already saw. Are all breakthroughs possible? Round and square, straight through, sloping roofs? Yes. So we provide all kind of situations. So ConVoid can handle a lot of different things, meaning, let me just switch to the coordination project. So you can have a roof which have a sloped angle. You can also have one single entire systems, like this cable tray, which can be used to create openings. So ConVoid will still detect each single clash with the wall, even when the cable tray is modeled as one single object. Another option is also that ConVoid can create openings for cable trays which are not actually intersecting the wall, meaning we take a closer look. These cable trays are actually not intersecting the wall, but ConVoid will still create the opening. So basically, you can use any 3D element, doesn't matter what kind of category it is, to create openings. So it would be possible to place any kind of generic model in your project and use it as a reference. Are there any other questions? Okay, just now, let me find. If the building is rotated, how can we create openings which follow angle of the building? So it doesn't matter if the building is rotated or have the wrong coordinates or position. ConVoid can handle even, I could simply just rotate my entire architecture model or create a angled wall. ConVoid will also handle these situations. Can you edit holes manually after running the program? If you pin a hole, does it stop it from being edited the next time you run the software? Yeah, you can actually just place openings manually at any time. Meaning, if I want to copy one opening, this opening will be marked as manually placed. So it's not connected to the ConVoid process. In case you want to prevent that ConVoid will update an opening, meaning, okay, I'm just moving this opening, which was created automatically, and I want to prevent that ConVoid updates this opening. I'm simply using the exclude from ConVoid parameter. And by enabling this parameter, ConVoid will stop updating this opening. So I can just rerun ConVoid and you will see that it will not change this excluded opening. It will give you a notification, but otherwise it will stay where it is. Perfect. Now we have one excluded element. Yes, it does work with MEP fabrication elements. So as said, you can use any kind of elements and any kind of category. So all these categories highlighted here can be used to create openings. And that's also includes the MEP fabrication elements. There's some more questions you have. Okay, then I'm just gonna switch back to our presentation. You can download a free 14 days trial of ConVoid on our website. So you have full access of all features, and we also provide user guides and tutorials. I always recommend to go through our user guide and tutorials. Every single step is explained there. I'm just gonna find the website for you in a second. All right, here it is. And on our support website, you have like all sessions on how to create and update openings for MEP services. So I would recommend starting with session 1 to 12. If you want to adopt or transfer openings from linked models into your own one, you should check out session 4. You can also, we have also a session on how to coordinate and approve openings, how to modify openings manually, how to place them manually, some information about our Revit families, and all these sessions or user guides have videos included. So I highly recommend going through these tutorials if you start working with ConVoid. Okay, are there some other questions you have? I think there's one. Does it work with slabs? Yeah. As said, ConVoid can work with any kind of 3D element. It doesn't matter what category it is. As long as it is a 3D element, you can create openings. So there's actually no limitation or requirements. The only requirement we have is that you have to have a 3D element. No? All right. Any other questions? No? Great. So I hope you enjoyed the webinar. We will also have a webinar in 2 months where we go more into the details and dive deep into the advanced settings of ConVoid. So yeah, we keep in touch and have a great day and weekend. Thank you. Bye-bye.